Hey guys, Xlice here. Wanted to make a quick video going over a super easy setup for the new Echoes of War endgame in Arknights Endfield. This is pretty similar to Abyss from Genshin. There are 3 nodes, they each have a timer. They have specific mechanics here, as you can see on each one, and each one has a potential bonus goal if you want to hit that. So I managed to actually clear all 3 with a single low investment team comp I'm about to show you. It only uses 1 6-star operator, and she just released. She's Arcane. I actually used her in DPS mode here, which in my opinion is not actually her strong suit. So if you have more invested DPS, you should have an easier time. So the first 2, I was actually able to do the bonus goal. That's why the 3 gold stars here. This one clear 3 minutes, and the first one is clear within 2 minutes, and they each have special mechanics. The third one, I was only able to do a normal clear on 1 minute 41, but this one I would say is a little bit better for you to deal with because it has no special mechanics. So any team that you have already invested in from like the start of the game or whenever you started playing should be able to clear this within 1 minute. All right, let's go over my setup and show you the runs. This is the team: Arcane, Perlica, Akaguri, and Xlice. So these 3 are all P5, but you guys can see that their weapons and their essence and their gear are basically minimal. Besides Perlica's weapon, which is R5, that doesn't really do much for this team. Yeah, so Akaguri is also on a level 1 weapon here. You can see her gear is fairly minimal. Stats are just generic frontier set. And then Xlice is Eternal Sheer Knight. Level 60 weapon. Honestly, it really doesn't matter too much. Arcane is really where the only investment is. She is P0. I activated 0 potentials for this run. She is R1 with a 442 essence. Her gear is pretty middle ground artificed. This one is 222. This one is 322. This one is 323. This one is 222. Her skills are just 9 across the board, 0 mastery at all, and basic is level 1. So as you guys can see, there is a lot of room to improve on this overall team layout. Just want to show you guys that it's completely possible and it's pretty easy to do. All right, so let's go back to Echoes of War and show you guys what we can do. So this one has a special mechanic. All right, so first thing you're gonna notice, right? 3 mobs, and there's this 1 purple mob in the middle. The purple mob is the special mob that you don't need to kill, and it also doesn't take normal damage. You have to stagger its bar and then do a finisher, and then it'll die and suck all the enemies in, which will make it much easier for your team to clear. So I'll show you guys. So right now you guys can notice we are doing no damage to this front mob, but we are trying to build up its stagger bar, right? So I'm still sending my abilities and all that stuff. You may be wondering, hey, why don't you just attack the mobs in the back? Well, the thing is, the setup here is actually really nice because it is not possible to CC those back enemies. So what we want to do is we want to set this up so that we get an easy access. So you saw the finisher there, right? We did 999k. Now all 3 of these mobs are set up. It makes it much easier for Arcane DPS to do a bunch of damage. You guys can see my damage is not impressive here, right? But we're able to clear super fast here. 40 seconds for the first one. And then this one, this is where you guys can see where things get a little bit annoying, right? Look at how far these enemies are spread out. This purple mob is responsible for suction, right? We have a mob over here, a mob over here, mob over here, and a mob over here. There's no way that we can even remotely handle this if we don't group them with the special mechanic. So that's why we blast the middle guy as fast as possible. And I'm just rotating Arcane's skill, QTE skill. Just waiting for it to come up like that. Boom, boom, get some extra damage off. And here we're gonna set up Arcane's ultimate because we can finish with this guy before we actually ascend the ultimate. Watch this. So watch. That one dies. It sucks all 4 enemies in. Then we do Akaguri's ult for the Link skill, for the Link, and then do a massive loop here. Very simple. And then we do 1 extra skill. We wait, then we QTE, and then do our enhanced skill, and we're good. So you guys can see, this is the last wave. By the way, we have 30 seconds left. We really have to go fast. We just send any of our extra ults as needed because we just want to stagger this guy as soon as possible. And you guys can see I have a lot of SP here. Okay, so we send a double skill QT skill. Okay, so now he's down. We have 15 seconds. Now we gotta send it. So here's the good thing, right? We did all of this setup. I just need to wait for Arcane's QT to come up, which at the bottom left, you guys can see how much time I have left, right? And I have full SP here. All I need are 3 skills and he's dead. So watch this. Could have actually skilled right here, but I just wanted to be sure. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Super clean. So 1 minute 56 seconds. We cleared the bonus round. This is brutal mode. You guys can see my layouts here. There is such minimal investment, right? Everyone is on like the most basic of basic gear. So totally believe you guys can do this. Second node is a bit different, right? So second node is after applying Arts Inflictions 20 times, all operators gain 50% final damage dealt for the rest of combat. So let's go into this. This one has a 3-minute timer. And it's a bit longer than the other ones. Okay, so same team here. We don't have any special mob. We just have to kill these enemies as fast as possible. So I'm gonna walk up here and start sending my abilities, but I want to be as close as possible to these mobs because I want to make sure that Arcane's skill constantly hits them all. If I move away, some of the mobs will start to walk to me and they won't get CC'd as well, right? So I just want to literally stay in their face as much as possible, and so that they get grouped and take all that AoE damage, which is Arcane's specialty as a DPS. So this setup, you guys can see, is doing really well right now. We have 3 minutes, there are 18 mobs to kill, and there is a final big blue glorp guy, the title class or whatever it's called, that we need to kill. Alright, so almost done with first node here. You guys can see that we are getting a lot of value out of our teammates here. Xlice doesn't really do much until we get the Cryo Amp, but that does impact an effect later. And then Akakuri, every single time we get those stagger nodes, we get a bit of SP, which is really nice. Alright, so as you guys can see here, we have a really good setup. I'm going to set the ultimate up here. There's no reason to wait on this, by the way, since we have multiple waves to go. So we want to get through these mobs ASAP. Okay, so we notice that the mobs are very weak here. We want to kind of save our abilities. Perfect here. Okay, and now we can finish her, or we can do Akakuri ult for the Link, and then finish her here for a juicy 256k nuke. And then we notice that Arcane's QT is back up. So we just go skill, QT, and skill. So you guys notice that I'm moving around because I always want to make sure that my skill gets maximum AoE. So this is the last node. And you guys can see from here, right? There are only 5 enemies left. There is a big boss that we need to kill. But look at the timer. 8 minutes and 27 seconds remaining. We started off with 10 minutes. We have a full 1 minute and 27 seconds to clear. So we are pretty much chilling. The big title class is a single target boss though, so we are going to suffer a little bit. But I'll show you guys. Not that bad. As long as we group around these mobs, we get a lot of value out of our AoE. Alright, so the boss mob is going to move all over the place. Just have to deal with it. Alright, we do have to slow down a little bit because I am pretty low on SP. I want to get these finishers for that extra SP. And we're going to notice a couple of things. Arcane's ult and Xlice's ult is almost ready. Okay, so now we have a little bit of extra SP here. 45 seconds left. Let's go. So fairly normal setup. Nothing crazy going on here. Okay, so perfect. Send our skills, send all of our abilities here. And then right before, we always want to make sure that we Akakuri ult into Arcane's ult for maximum damage. And look at that. 387k. There it is. Pretty nice. There's also one little mob there remaining. But yeah, not bad, right? I mean, Arcane is not your normal DPS, but I think that considering how cheap this team is, and that Arcane is the most recently released character, it's a pretty good showcase. I feel like, you know, if you're newer or something, you'd be like, oh, okay, I can totally do this. Obviously, if you don't have her signature weapon, go for the battle pass weapon, and also make sure to fully artifice your gear, fully upgrade, because there's a lot of extra damage you could be getting, right? Get those mastery ranks on your skills. Remember, my skills are only rank 9, so there's 3 more levels to go on each one. It's totally worth it if you want to get these super easy clears. Okay, final node to showcase is node 3. This one, honestly, it's super simple. I'm not going to be able to clear in exactly 1 minute or under 1 minute because I just don't have the DPS output. But if you've been playing for a while, you probably have at least one team setup or like a character that you hyper invested in. This should be no problem. This is just one mob. There's literally nothing to worry about. You just dodge when you see the moves come out. Very simple. I'll show you guys what it looks like for Arcane doing DPS here and how I manage. Final thing to notice, by the way that I play Arcane's DPS, I literally do not use any other battle skill on my characters except for maybe Xlice. Just because I get a little bit of extra value from her skill. But mostly it's just Arcane doing the constant skill QT skill. only thing that you have to watch for Arcane is that bottom left, this bar. This bar shows you the QTE cooldown if you've never seen it before. So right here, when it's glowing like the rest of them, right? This shows that our QTE is ready. So when I get enough skill points here, we just send it. So I always need about 2 bars to fully, but we have a lot of extra SP generation, so we're good. So you guys can see we have 4 minutes to start here, and 1 minute has already passed, so we don't get this timer. And we're only about halfway through the boss. So this is probably the most raw stat check, but if you have a single target team, it should not be an issue at all. All right, so ultimate here dealing 247k, pretty nice. Obviously, because this node has 0 bonuses, right? Has 0, what am I saying? Has 0 buffs, right? The last node, we had 50% final damage for all operators, which allowed our Arcane to deal almost 400k, kind of juiced. But yeah, pretty simple, right? I mean, I think this is a pretty low stress clear. You consider the teams that I'm using, right? There's so many upgrades you can do, right? Just to remind you guys, like, how many upgrades you can potentially do. This team is probably bare minimum F2P Arcane comp. You can replace Ardelia in here. You can get Gilberta in there. You can use Camille instead of Akakuri, right? There's so many options that you can do to increase the just general, chip damage and team DPS for the comp. So yeah, just going over some final things now that I've shown you all the clears. Going over some final things. Again, just a reminder that Arcane is rank 9 on all our skills, 0 mastery nodes. So the DPS can still continue to climb with more mastery. All of my supports do not have Artifice gear. And like I said, Xlice's main role is just to provide Nature Amp. Sorry, I think I said Crow Amp multiple times during the video, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, Xlice's skill we sometimes use for the Juicy Arts Amp. So just a little bit extra damage. But the team's SP is pretty much 90% funneled to Arcane. We do need 2 bars for the skill, QTE skill. So yeah. Not bad, right? So that's basically it. This is a super simple clear for Echoes of War. Shouldn't be too stressful. If you have Arcane, very easy to go. Let me know what you guys think. And of course, this last node is probably, I would say this last node is probably the easiest because it has no special mechanics, or it might be the most hard. But if you have a super invested team, you have no worries. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is a super easy clear that anyone can really pick up as long as you have 1 single unit. And yeah, just remember to abuse the mechanics, right? Abuse this guy's mechanic. The middle purple mob is really easy to abuse. It gives you SP, it gives you damage dealt, so kind of boosting your stuff, right? If you don't use it, you do lose the 100% damage dealt, which is a major reason why you want to do it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Enfield content, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.